The great council chamber floated in the darkness between stars. Inside, representatives from across the galaxy gathered for what they believed would be a simple vote. Ambassador Victal stood at the center platform, his scales gleaming under the artificial lights. He spoke with confidence that made the younger species lean forward in their seats. The Sol system contains resources worth more than entire sectors, Victal said, projecting images of planets and asteroids, rare minerals, perfect orbital positions, and at its center, the third planet called Earth, abandoned for over 1,200 years, empty, waiting. Murmurs rippled through the chamber. Several ambassadors nodded. The Draxian Empire had presented a compelling case. Why let valuable resources go to waste? The humans were gone. Everyone knew the story. One day, they simply stopped responding. Their ships went dark. Their colonies fell silent. No war, no plague announced. Just silence. But in the back of the chamber, Elder Counselor Thera rose slowly. She was Vilain, one of the oldest species still active in galactic politics. Her 4 eyes had seen centuries pass. When she spoke, her voice carried weight that made even Victal pause. "You are young," Thera said, looking at the eager faces around her. "Your species reached the stars only recently. You do not remember what we remember." "The humans are gone, Elder," Victal replied. "Whatever they were, they are history now." Thera's mandibles clicked in what might have been a laugh or a warning. "History has teeth, Ambassador. The humans were not like other species. Individually, they were weak, fragile. Their lifespans were short. They needed protective suits on most worlds we walk freely." "Exactly my point," Victal interrupted. "I was not finished," Thera said sharply. "Yes, they were fragile. But together, they were something else entirely. They did not simply fight wars. They calculated them. They turned every loss into a lesson, every defeat into data. I watched them face the Korthax invasion, where they were outnumbered 30-1. They won, not through superior technology or strength, but through sheer refusal to accept defeat." The chamber grew quieter. Some of the older delegates nodded slowly. "When humans went to sleep, they made one request of this council," Thera continued. "Mark their space as forbiddance. Do not investigate. Do not disturb." We agreed because we understood what it meant. They were removing themselves from the galaxy's conflicts, giving us peace. But the agreement came with an unspoken understanding. If you break that peace, you accept what comes next. Victal spread his arms wide. "Elder Thera, with respect, that was 12 centuries ago. 1,200 years of silence. If they still existed, surely they would have shown themselves. The galaxy has changed. We have new alliances, new technologies. We cannot let old fears control new opportunities." The vote was called. Of the 859 council members present, 847 voted to approve the Draxian mining operation. Only 12 voted against, all of them from the oldest species in the galaxy. Thera watched the results display and closed all 4 eyes. "Then may the void have mercy on you," she whispered. "Because the humans will not." 3 weeks later, Captain Vergen led the Draxian mining fleet into the Sol system. 47 ships, the largest mining operation ever assembled. They passed the outer planets without incident. Jupiter, Saturn, Mars, all quiet. All dead dot. Then they saw Earth. The planet was encased in a massive spherical shell of energy, perfectly smooth, covering the entire world from pole to pole. Warning beacons orbited the shell by the thousands, each broadcasting on every known frequency. Vergen, as communications officer, looked up from her console, confusion on her face. "Captain, the beacons are transmitting in over 10,000 languages. What do they say?" She hesitated. All of them say the same thing. Sleepers within. Do not wake. Final warning. Turn back now. Vergen studied the energy shell. Scans showed it was incredibly old, but still functioning at full power. Impressive technology, certainly, but technology nonetheless. And technology could be broken. Captain, his science officer called out, I am detecting massive structures beneath the surface. Cities, I think, but no power signatures. No heat, nothing. It is like the entire planet is frozen. Because it is, Vergen said. They ran away and hid, cowards. He turned to his weapons officer. Target the northern polar region. Mining beam, full power. Let us crack this shell and claim what is rightfully ours. Sir, the warnings are 1,200 years old, Vergen snapped. Fire. The mining beam lanced out, a concentrated stream of energy designed to cut through asteroids and planetoids. It struck the energy shell over Earth's Arctic region. For a moment, nothing happened. Then the beam began to penetrate. The shell flickered. Cracks spread from the impact point, glowing lines racing across the curved surface like lightning frozen in time. Alarms began shrieking on every Draxian ship. Captain, energy readings are spiking across the entire planet, the science officer reported, his voice rising in pitch. I am detecting power activation in thousands of locations. Underground, underwater, in the mountains. Captain, something is waking up. Vergen stared at the view screen as the cracks spread wider. The warning beacons changed their tone, their messages shifting to a new broadcast in Draxian language only. You were warned. You were given 1,200 years. Count your remaining time in minutes. The energy shell shattered completely, breaking apart into billions of fragments that dissolved into space. For the first time in over a millennium, Earth's blue and green surface was visible to the galaxy. Beautiful, peaceful, quiet. Then lights began appearing across the dark side of the planet. First dozens, then hundreds, then thousands. Cities powering up, defense grids activating. And beneath the Pacific Ocean, something massive was rising. Vergen's communications officer received an incoming transmission. She played it on the main speakers. The voice was human, male, calm, speaking. Perfect Draxian with an accent that suggested. The speaker had learned the language in minutes. This is Captain Tae-Jun of the United Human Space Force, Pacific Command. You have violated the Sanctuary Accord. You have 30 minutes to leave the Sol System. This is your only warning. After 30 minutes, you become valid military targets under human defensive protocols. Choose wisely. Vergen slammed his fist on the armrest. This is the Draxian Imperial Mining Fleet. We operate under authority of the Galactic Council. You are an extinct species with no legal standing. Surrender your planet immediately or face destruction. Silence answered him for exactly 10 seconds. Then Tae-Jun's voice came back, and this time there was something in it that made Vergen's blood run cold. Not anger, not fear, just certainty. 29 minutes, 30 seconds remaining. We are awake now, and we remember everything. Deep beneath the ruins of what was once called Sol, in a facility that extended 15 kilometers underground, Captain Tae-Jun opened his eyes for the first time in 1,200 years. The cryostasis pod hissed as it released him, and he gasped in his first breath of air. His body ached. Every muscle felt wrong, like he had been sleeping on rocks for days. The medical sensors around his pod hummed as they pumped stabilizers into his bloodstream. Within seconds, the pain faded. Within a minute, he could move his fingers. Welcome back, Captain Tae-Jun, a voice said. It was EGI's Prime, the artificial intelligence that had watched over Earth during humanity's long sleep. Apologies for the rough awakening. Emergency protocols do not allow for the standard 12-hour recovery period. Tae-Jun sat up slowly, his training overriding the confusion in his mind. Report. Hostile action detected. External force has breached the sanctuary shield. 17 minutes ago, a mining beam penetrated the shell over the Arctic region. I have initiated protocol awakening across all continental citadels. Currently, 200 million personnel are emerging from stasis. The pod opened fully. Tae-Jun stepped out onto cold metal floor, his bare feet finding purchase automatically. Around him, other pods were opening. He recognized the faces immediately. His crew. His team. Commander Hana Lee emerged from the pod to his left, her short hair matted with the gel that had preserved them. She looked at Tae-Jun and managed a weak smile. Sir, how long? AEGI? Tae-Jun asked. 1,247 years. 3 months. 17 days. 6 hours. The words hit like physical blows. Hana grabbed the edge of her pod for support. Lieutenant Jin Park, climbing out of his own pod, simply stood frozen. Dr. Yoon Choi covered her mouth with one hand. Engineer Dae Kim sat down hard on the floor that Tae-Jun let them have their moment. He had known this was possible when they entered the pods. They all had. When Earth activated Protocol Sanctuary, every volunteer understood they might never wake up, or wake up so far in the future that everything they knew was gone. Everyone they loved was dust, but they had chosen this because someone had to be ready. Someone had to remain, just in case the galaxy forgot its promise. Apparently, the galaxy had forgotten. Show me, Tae-Jun said. AEGI projected holographic displays throughout the chamber. The Draxian fleet appeared in perfect detail. 47 ships in various formations around Earth. Mining vessels mostly. But Tae-Jun's experienced eye caught the escort frigates and the destroyer hanging back. They came to take our planet, Hana said softly. She had recovered faster than the others, her tactical mind already engaging. How many made the vote? AEGIS displayed the Galactic Council records. The vote was 847 in favor, 12 against. The opposing votes came from the Velen, Korthan, and Setheri delegations. The older species, those who remember. Jin stepped closer to the hologram, studying the Draxian ships. They are mining configuration, not military. They expected no resistance. Did we respond? They asked, running his hands through his hair. I transmitted the standard warning 17 minutes ago, AEGIS replied. The Draxian commander responded with threats and demands for Earth's surrender. Tae-Jun almost smiled. Almost. How many ships do we have operational? Currently? The Eternal Vigil is at 97% functionality. I am bringing the Pacific Fleet online now. The Atlantic, Mediterranean, and Arctic fleets will be ready in 40 minutes. Full global deployment in 90 minutes. How many total? 74 capital ships, 312 destroyers, 840 frigates. This does not include the planetary defense grid, orbital platforms, or the lunar batteries. Dr. Yoon moved to a medical station, checking readings on the other awakening personnel. The revived population is stable. No major complications from stasis. We will need time for full recovery, but combat readiness should be achievable within hours. Tae-Jun nodded. He walked to a locker that bore his name, still readable after all these centuries. Inside was his uniform, preserved perfectly. He began dressing, and the others followed suit. AEGIS, what happened to the rest of humanity? Hannah asked as she fastened her boots. The colonies, the outposts, the generation ships that refused to enter stasis. Unknown. The sanctuary protocol required complete communications blackout. I have no data on external human populations. However, I have detected traces of human technological signatures in deep space. Faint, but present. Tae-Jun sealed his jacket and looked at his reflection in a nearby panel. He looked the same as the day he entered the pod. Young, ready, but inside, he felt the weight of 12 centuries pressing down. "Sir," Jin said quietly, "what are we going to do?" Tae-Jun turned to face his crew. These people who had trusted him enough to sleep through the death of everything they knew. "We are going to remind the galaxy why they let us sleep in peace. We are going to show them what they have forgotten." He walked to the command console and activated the facility-wide communications. Across the Seoul Defense Complex, throughout every chamber and corridor, his voice rang clear. "All personnel, this is Captain Tae-Jun. We have been awakened because our home was attacked. Because the galaxy broke its promise. I know you are confused. I know you are afraid. I know you have lost everything you remember. But you still have each other. You still have Earth. And you still have the mission we accepted when we entered those pods. Defend humanity. At any cost." He paused, letting his words sink in. "Get to your stations. Remember your training. And let us show these invaders what humans do when you wake us up angry." Throughout the facility, across the continent, around the entire planet, 200 million humans moved with purpose. Soldiers ran to armories. Pilots climbed into fighters. Engineers fired up reactors that had not run in over 1,000 years. And in the Pacific Ocean, the water began to churn as something massive rose from the depths. The eternal vigil broke the surface like a breaching whale. Water cascading off its 5-kilometer hull in waterfalls that created rainbows in the sunlight. The ship's running lights activated, and its weapons ports opened. Tae-Jun stood in the command center, watching the main view screen as his ship climbed toward the sky. Hannah took her position at tactical. Jin manned weapons. They moved to engineering controls. Dr. Yoon established her medical bay. AEGI, Tae-Jun said calmly. "How long since my warning?" 29 minutes, 40 seconds. "Open a channel to the Draxian fleet." "Channel open, Captain." Tae-Jun looked at the view screen, imagining the alien commander on the other end. "This is Captain Tae-Jun. Your time is up." Captain Vergen stared at the view screen in disbelief as the human ship continued rising from the ocean. It was impossible. Nothing that large should be able to fly, let alone emerge from underwater. The ship was bigger than his entire mining fleet combined. "Sir," his sensor officer stammered, "I am detecting 72 more signatures. They are coming up from the oceans, from underground, from mountain ranges. Sir, they have been hidden everywhere." The view screen split into multiple feeds. Vergen watched as ship after ship emerged from Earth's surface. Sleek warships that made his mining vessels look like toys. Destroyers bristling with weapons. Frigates moving in perfect formation. "How many?" Vergen asked quietly. "Over 1,000 ships and counting, sir. And the planetary surface is lighting up with defense installations. I am reading weapons platforms in orbit. On the moon. Throughout the asteroid belt." Vergen's mandibles clicked nervously. "Get me the Council. Get me the Imperial Fleet. Get me anyone. Sir, they are hailing us." The main view screen changed. A human face appeared. Male, young-looking. Dark eyes that seemed to look right through Vergen. The human wore a military uniform, crisp and formal. "I am Captain Tae-Jun," the human said in perfect Draxian. "You were given 30 minutes to leave. You chose to stay? This was a mistake. You cannot do this?" Vergen shouted. "The Galactic Council authorized this operation. You are in violation of interstellar law. Tae-jun tilted his head slightly. Interstellar law. The same law that promised our space would remain untouched. That law? You abandoned this planet. You have no legal claim. We did not abandon anything. We slept. There is a difference. Tae-jun leaned forward slightly. And now we are awake. Final chance, Captain. Leave now. Vergen made his decision. He had 47 ships. He had the backing of the Draxian Empire. He would not be threatened by some ancient remnant species that should have stayed asleep. All ships, Vergen commanded. Fire at will. Destroy them. The Draxian fleet opened fire. Missiles streaked through space toward the human vessels. Energy beams lanced out. The combined firepower could have destroyed a small moon. On the bridge of the Eternal Vigil, Commander Hana watched the incoming fire with professional calm. Point defense systems locked on all incoming threats. Shall I intercept, Captain? Intercept and return to sender. Tae-jun said quietly. What happened next would be analyzed by military academies across the galaxy for centuries. The human ships did not simply shoot down the incoming missiles. Their point defense systems calculated trajectories, identified which ship fired each missile, and sent them back. Vergen watched in horror as his own missiles turned around and slammed back into his fleet. 12 Draxian ships exploded in brilliant fireballs. 12 ships destroyed by their own weapons in under 10 seconds. Evasive maneuvers. Vergen screamed, but the human ships were already moving. They did not charge forward like aggressive warriors. They moved like surgeons, precise and efficient. Each human ship seemed to know exactly where to be and when. A voice came over the communications channel. Female. Calm. This is Commander Hana Lee. You were warned. You were given a gift. 1,200 years of peace. Our absence from the galaxy. You wasted it. The Eternal Vigil rotated slowly, bringing one of its main weapons to bear. Lieutenant Jin Park sat at the weapons console, his fingers moving over controls with practiced ease. Graviton lance charged, Jin reported. Target their flagship. Tae-jun ordered. Locked. Fire. The Graviton lance was not an explosive weapon. It did not shoot energy beams or missiles. It manipulated gravity itself. When it fired, space around Vergen's flagship began to compress. Vergen felt the ship shuddering around him. Warning alarm screamed. His crew grabbed their stations as gravity went insane. Up became down. Left became right. Then the ship began to fold. Metal compressed. Decks collapsed into each other. The 500-meter flagship crushed down like paper in a fist. Smaller, smaller, until the entire vessel, with its crew and weapons and armor, was compressed into a sphere roughly the size of a basketball dot. The sphere floated in space for a moment, then was released. It drifted slowly, a compressed ball of what had once been a proud warship. Void, take us, someone whispered on the open channel. The remaining Draxian ships broke formation immediately. Some turned to run. Others simply floated, their crews too shocked to respond. A few tried to fight, firing wildly at the human fleet. The human ships responded with measured precision. They disabled engines, destroyed weapon systems. Not a single human ship fired a killing blow on a vessel that had stopped fighting. Within 10 minutes, it was over. 17 Draxian ships had managed to jump to faster-than-light speed and escape. The rest were either destroyed or disabled, floating helplessly in Earth's orbit. Tae-jun stood from his command chair. Hana, secure the disabled vessels. Take survivors prisoner. Medical team standing by. Aye, Captain. Dr. Yoon's face appeared on a side screen. Sir, I am reading life signs on most of the disabled ships. Permission to deploy medical frigates? Granted. Treat their wounded as you would our own. Jin turned in his chair, his face troubled. Sir, should we pursue the ships that escaped? Tae-Jun shook his head. No, let them run. Let them tell the galaxy what they found here. Let them spread the word. Sir? Hannah asked. They need to know, Tae-Jun said, looking at Earth rotating slowly beneath them. The galaxy needs to remember. We did not want to wake up. We were happy to sleep, but they woke us. Now they have to live with that choice. AEG, Ice Prime's voice came through the ship's speakers. Captain, I am detecting transmissions from the disabled ships. They are broadcasting what happened here on all frequencies. The galaxy will know within hours. Good, Tae-Jun said. Dae-Kim's voice crackled over the engineering channel. Captain, I have something you need to see. I have been analyzing deep space signals. There are human technological signatures out there. A lot of them. Tae-Jun felt something stir in his chest. Hope, maybe. Where? Everywhere, sir. Scattered across the galaxy. Different signatures. Different technological levels. But definitely human. I think our people who did not enter stasis, they survived. They have been out there this whole time. Tae-Jun looked at Hana. She was smiling, tears running down her face. Jin pumped his fist silently. Even through the screens, Tae-Jun could see Dr. Yoon wiping her eyes. Then we find them, Tae-Jun said. AEGIS. Begin long-range scanning. I want to know where every human settlement is. Already compiling data, Captain. Initial results show approximately 300 potential human colonies or installations. 300. Hana whispered. Tae-Jun nodded slowly. Humanity had not just survived. They had endured. Scattered and separated, they had kept going. Prep a message, Tae-Jun ordered. Broadcast it on all human frequencies, old and new. Tell them Earth is awake. Tell them we are coming. Tell them it is time to come home. Outside the ship, floating in the debris of the short battle, the compressed sphere that had been Vergen's flagship drifted slowly. Inside, nothing remained but atoms pressed so tightly together that the mass was almost incomprehensible. And across the galaxy, the 17 Draxian ships that had escaped jumped from system to system. Broadcasting frantically, the humans were awake, and they were not happy. The news reached the Galactic Council within 6 hours. The emergency session was called immediately, with representatives rushing to Threshold Prime from across known space. The chamber that had been half empty during the vote to approve the mining operation was now packed beyond capacity. Ambassador Vital stood at the central platform, his scales having lost their gleaming shine. He looked smaller now, defeated. The mining fleet was destroyed, he reported, his voice barely carrying through the silent chamber. 30 ships lost. 17 escaped. The human fleet appeared from nowhere. Weapons unlike anything we have encountered. One ship alone destroyed our flagship by compressing it into a sphere the size of a child's toy. Murmurs ran through the assembled delegates. Fear, disbelief, anger. This is an act of war. Someone shouted from the Praven delegation. They attacked a council-authorized operation. Another voice called out. Elder Counselor Thera rose from her seat slowly. Every eye turned to her. You were warned. I warned you. The oldest species in this chamber warned you. You chose not to listen. They are one species. Victul protested. One planet. The Council represents thousands of worlds. And yet they destroyed your fleet in minutes, Thera replied coldly. Tell them, Ambassador. Tell them what the humans did with your survivors. Vital's mandibles clicked in confusion. They treated our wounded. They took prisoners, but did not harm them. They could have killed everyone, but they showed mercy. Mercy, Thera repeated, letting the word hang in the air. They show mercy, even when defending their home. And still you wish to go to war with them? The Draxian representative, High Commander Zelvan, stepped forward. His armor was ceremonial, but no less intimidating. The Draxian Empire cannot let this attack go unanswered. We demand the Council declare humanity a hostile force. We demand a coalition fleet to bring them under control. Under control? Thera laughed, a sound like rocks grinding together. You understand nothing. Humanity does not come under control. They came to the galactic community 5,000 years ago. Young, weak. Their ships were primitive. Their weapons inferior. Do you know what they did when the Korthax Empire tried to enslave them? She waited, but no one answered. They lost 90% of their fleet in the first engagement. Any other species would have surrendered. The humans studied the battle. They learned. They adapted. The second engagement, they lost 60%. By the 10th engagement, the Korthax were the ones retreating. Humanity does not surrender. They iterate. They improve. They turn every defeat into data. Ancient history, Zelvan dismissed. We have advanced significantly since then. Have you? Thera challenged. The weapons the humans used were 1,200 years old. Technology they had when they chose to sleep. Imagine what they have been developing in secret. What their scattered colonies have created during humanity's long absence. But fear was already turning to anger in the chamber. The younger species, those who had never faced humanity in conflict, saw only threat. The Praven Confederacy, the Hellion tribes, the corporate systems. They began calling for action. Within hours, a war coalition formed. 19 species, 4,000 ships. The largest military force assembled in 800 years. Meanwhile, on Earth, Captain Tae-Jun stood in the command center of the Seoul Defense Complex, watching the reports flow in. AEGIC Prime had infiltrated the galactic communication networks easily, giving them real-time intelligence. They are forming a war fleet, Hana reported, reviewing the data. 4,000 ships. They will likely attack within the week. Expected, Tae-Jun said. He had known this would happen. You do not humiliate an empire without consequences. What else? Dae Kim pulled up a star map covered in markers. Sir, we have confirmed 287 human settlements across the galaxy. Some are small. Asteroid mining colonies with a few hundred people. Others are significant. There is a generation ship called the Wanderer that has a population of 3 million. A moon colony in the Tertius sector with 20 million inhabitants. Have they responded to our message? All of them, sir. They are asking for orders. Tae-Jun felt the weight of that responsibility. Hundreds of millions of humans who had been alone for over a millennium, who had kept going despite everything, now looking to Earth for guidance. Tell them the truth, Tae-Jun said. Tell them we were attacked. Tell them a war is coming. Tell them they are not obligated to join, but if they choose to, we would be honored to fight alongside them. A new voice spoke up from the communication station. Captain, we have an incoming transmission. Source is identifying as the Martian Defense Wing. Martian? Hannah looked confused. Mars was evacuated during the Sanctuary Protocol. Apparently not completely, the comm officer replied. They are requesting direct communication with you, sir. Tae-Jun nodded. Put them through. The main screen shifted, showing a woman in a military uniform. It was similar to their own, but with significant modifications. Behind her, Tae-Jun could see a command center built into what looked like a cave system. Captain Tae-Jun, the woman said, saluting crisply. I am Commander Yuna Shin, Martian Defense Wing. Welcome back to the waking world. Commander Shin, Taejun returned the salute. I was told Mars was evacuated. Yuna smiled. Most of it was. My ancestors were part of a volunteer force that stayed behind. Someone had to watch the inner system while Earth slept. We have been here for 42 generations, maintaining stealth, watching the galaxy, and waiting for the day you woke up. 42 generations. Taejun tried to imagine it. Families living in secret on Mars for over 1,000 years, dedicated to a mission their ancestors had started. How many are you? Hannah asked. Current population is 500,000. We are not many, but we are ready. Our technology has evolved differently than Earth's. We have had to make do with limited resources. But we have been preparing for this day. The Coalition fleet? Taejun asked. We know. We have been monitoring galactic communications since we heard about the mining fleet. Captain, we need to talk about something important. The humans who left Earth, who did not enter stasis, they made a pact. We would not return to Earth until it was time. We would not risk leading anyone back to the homeworld. We have kept that promise for 1,200 years. And now? Taejun asked. Yuna's expression hardened. Now someone woke you up. Now a war is coming. The pact is fulfilled. We are coming home, Captain. And we are bringing everyone with us. Over the next 3 days, human ships began appearing in the Sol system. They came from every direction. Generation ships that had been traveling for centuries. Stealth frigates that had been watching from the shadows. Colony defense fleets that had been protecting settlements in distant sectors. They were different from Earth's military. Their ships showed the evolution of 1,200 years of independent development. Different designs, different technologies. But they all carried one thing in common. They were human. Admiral Kyung-nam arrived on the 5th day, his fleet emerging from faster-than-light speed at the edge of the system. His flagship was ancient, a design that predated the Sanctuary Protocol, but it had been maintained and upgraded over centuries. Taejun met him in person when the Admiral shuttled down to Earth. Kyung-nam was old, truly old, with white hair and lines on his face earned from decades of command. He had been born on a colony ship and had never seen Earth with his own eyes. When he stepped out of the shuttle and saw blue sky for the first time, he fell to his knees and wept. I am home, he whispered. After 42 generations, we are home. Taejun helped him to his feet. Welcome back, Admiral. Kyung-nam wiped his eyes and straightened his uniform. Captain, I bring 315 ships. 30 million people spread across the colonies have volunteered to fight. More are coming. We do not have much time, Taejun said. The Coalition fleet will be here within days. Then we make the time we have count. Captain, I recommend you take overall command of Earth's defense. I will coordinate the colonial fleets. You outrank me, sir. Kyung-nam smiled. You woke up. You faced the first threat. You reminded the galaxy what humans are capable of. The command is yours. I am just happy to finally be part of this. AEG. Ice Prime's voice interrupted them. Admiral Nam, Captain Taejun, the Coalition fleet has entered the outer system. 4,012 ships. They are broadcasting a demand for Earth's unconditional surrender. Taejun and Kyung-nam looked at each other. How many ships do we have now? Kyung-nam asked. 1,400 Earth vessels. 315 colonial ships. Total of 1,715. They outnumber us more than 2 to 1, Kyung-nam observed. Taejun smiled grimly. Then it is a fair fight. AEGI, send a response to the Coalition. Tell them we do not surrender. Tell them if they want Earth, they are going to have to take it. Message sent, Captain. And Aegis? Activate Protocol Reunion. Let us show the galaxy what happens when you wake all of humanity. The Coalition fleet advanced into the Sol system in a formation designed to intimidate. 4,000 ships arranged in perfect geometric patterns, their combined mass blocking out stars. At the center, the command carrier of High Commander Zelvin led the armada forward. On the bridge, Zelvin studied the tactical display with satisfaction. The human fleet was outnumbered, outgunned. This would be a short battle, a demonstration to the galaxy that no single species could stand against the unified council. "Sir," his tactical officer reported, "the human fleet is not retreating. They are holding position in orbit around Earth." "Of course they are," Zelvin said. "They have nowhere to run. Open a channel. Let me speak to whoever leads them." The communication screen activated. Zelvin expected to see fear, desperation. Instead, he saw a human male in military uniform, standing calmly with his arms behind his back. "I am Admiral Kyung Nam of the United Human Space Force. You are trespassing in human space. Leave now and this ends peacefully." Zelvin laughed. "You are outnumbered 2-1. Your planet is surrounded. Surrender now, and we will show mercy." "Mercy," Kyung Nam repeated. He almost smiled. "High Commander, you made a mistake. You should have sent spies first. You should have done research. You should have learned what you were facing before bringing your fleet here. We know what we face. An ancient species clinging to past glory." "No," Kyung Nam said quietly. "You face humanity. And humanity has a very specific way of approaching war. Let me educate you." He gestured off-screen. The display split, showing multiple feeds simultaneously. This is the Sol Defense Complex. Population 200 million, all military personnel, all awake and ready. The feed showed massive underground facilities, rows of ships, weapons charging. This is the Martian Defense Wing. 500,000 people who have lived in secret for 42 generations, preparing for this day. Mars's surface was covered in hidden launch bays, all opening simultaneously. This is the Colonial Fleet, 30 million volunteers from across the galaxy who came home to defend Earth. Ships of 100 different designs, all human-made, all armed and ready. And this, Kyung Nam's voice became cold, is what you do not see. The displays changed. Throughout the Sol system, weapons platforms activated, hidden in asteroids, buried in moons, floating in planetary rings. Thousands of defensive positions that had been dark and dormant, invisible to sensors. "We had 1,200 years to prepare for this day," Kyung Nam continued. "Did you think we slept undefended? Did you think we would not plan for the possibility that someone would be stupid enough to attack us?" Zelvin felt ice running through his veins. His sensor officer was frantically updating the tactical display. The numbers kept climbing. More weapons, more ships, more humans than they had expected. "You still outnumber us," Zelvin said, trying to maintain confidence. "Numbers are not everything. Let me show you." The human fleet began moving, not charging forward in a reckless assault, but spreading out in a pattern that Zelvin's military training recognized as devastatingly efficient. Every ship had perfect firing lanes. Every position covered multiple angles. "All ships," Zelvin ordered. "Attack pattern Omega. Overwhelm them with numbers." The Coalition fleet surged forward. 4,000 ships unleashing enough firepower to destroy a solar system. The human point defense systems activated. What happened next would be analyzed for decades. The human ships did not simply block or dodge attacks. Every single weapon platform, every ship, every defense station operated as part of a single networked intelligence. They shared targeting data instantaneously, calculated trajectories faster than should be possible, and responded with precision that seemed almost supernatural. Missiles were intercepted and redirected. Energy beams were dispersed by precisely timed counterbeams. Kinetic weapons were caught by gravitational fields and slung back at their launchers. And then the humans began their counterattack. Lieutenant Jin Park, commanding a destroyer wing, demonstrated the tactical innovation that humans were known for. When 3 Praven ships surrounded his vessel, attempting to box him in, he did not retreat. He accelerated directly at them, his ship's drive at maximum. Jin threaded between all 3 enemy vessels. His point defense destroyed the first ship's engines as he passed. His main weapons crippled the second. The third ship, turning to pursue, collided with debris from the first. 3 enemy ships destroyed in 12 seconds with 0 damage to his own vessel. The maneuver would become known as the Jin maneuver. Within an hour, it would be replicated by a dozen other human captains. On the medical frigate Sanctuary, Dr. Yoon Choi made a different kind of impact. Even in the middle of the battle, even as weapons fire lit up space around them, she broadcast on all frequencies. This is Dr. Yoon Choi of the UHSF Medical Service. We will treat wounded from any species, unconditionally. Any ship that stands down and requests medical assistance will receive it. We are humans. We fight when we must, but we do not abandon those who need help. In the corporate systems section of the Coalition fleet, the message hit hard. These corporations had joined the war for profit, for resources. They had not expected an enemy that offered mercy in the middle of battle. 3 corporate systems destroyers lowered their shields and broadcast surrender. Then 5 more. Then an entire wing. They had come for a quick war and easy rewards. Instead, they found an enemy that fought like demons, but still held on to their humanity. The battle raged for 18 hours. The coalition had numbers, but humans had experience, coordination, and technology that made their numerical disadvantage irrelevant. Captain Tae-jun commanded from the Eternal Vigil, his voice calm as he coordinated 1,000 ships across a battlefield that spanned millions of kilometers. Wing 7, support the Martian Defense Group. Wing 12, cover the Colonial Fleet's flank. Orbital platforms 3 through 15, focus fire on the Hellion cruisers. Hannah fed him tactical data continuously. Sir, the Praven fleet is breaking formation. They are requesting permission to retreat. Granted. Let them go. They are not our enemy. They were just foolish enough to side with the wrong people. Throughout the battle, Tae-jun gave the same order repeatedly. Let them retreat. Let them surrender. Only destroy those who refuse to stop fighting. By the 20th hour, the coalition fleet was shattered. Of the 4,000 ships that had entered the Sol system, 800 were destroyed. 1,200 had surrendered. The remaining 2,000 had fled to faster-than-light speed, broadcasting warnings to anyone who would listen. Stay away from Earth. Stay away from the humans. Hi. Commander Zelvin's command carrier was disabled, floating dead in space. Tae-jun had specifically ordered it captured intact. When human Marines boarded the vessel, they found Zelvin on his bridge, surrounded by his dead crew. The Draxian commander looked at the humans with something between fear and respect. "You could have killed us all," he said. "Why did you not?" The Marine commander, a woman named Soo Jin Park, removed her helmet. "Because we are not monsters. We defend ourselves. We fight when we must. But we do not murder those who surrender. That is what makes us human." Zelvin was taken into custody, treated with respect, and given medical care. His surviving crew was transported to holding facilities where they received food, water, and treatment for their injuries. The galaxy watched in amazement. Humanity had won a crushing victory, and still showed mercy. 3 days after the battle, Captain Tae-Jun stood before the Galactic Council via holographic transmission. Every species in known space watched. Humanity did not want to wake up, Tae-Jun said, his voice carrying across thousands of star systems. We chose to sleep to give the galaxy peace. We removed ourselves from your conflicts. We asked for one thing in return. Leave us alone. He paused, letting his words sink in. You broke that agreement. You attacked our homeworld. You forced us to wake up. So now we are awake. And we are staying awake. Elder Counselor Thera spoke from her seat. What does humanity demand? Nothing, Tae-Jun replied, and saw surprise ripple through the council. We do not demand territory. We do not demand tribute. We will find our scattered colonies. We will rebuild. We will reconnect our people. And we will make sure that the galaxy remembers one very simple rule. He leaned forward, his eyes seeming to look at every delegate simultaneously. Never wake the humans. You broke that rule. You paid the price. Learn from it. The transmission ended. 5 years later, Admiral Tae-Jun stood on the observation deck of the Eternal Vigil, looking at Earth rotating slowly below. The planet had changed significantly. Cities were being rebuilt. Forests were spreading. The energy shield was gone, replaced by conventional defenses. Humanity had established the Terran Federation, a network of 300 worlds and stations. They had not conquered anyone. They had simply reconnected their own people and established defensive pacts with species who remembered the old days. The galaxy had learned. Human space was marked as protected on every star chart. Trade with the Federation was profitable and welcome. But military vessels stayed far away. Commander Hanae approached, her footsteps soft on the deck. Sir, we have located the last human colony. A small settlement in the Outer Rim. Population 3,000. Send them a message, Tae-Jun ordered. Tell them the reunion is complete. Tell them it is time to come home if they wish. Already done, sir. They are requesting permission to remain where they are, but want to establish regular contact. Tae-Jun smiled. That was humanity in a nutshell. Give them freedom, and they would choose 100 different paths. But they would always remain connected. Admiral, a EGI Prime's voice spoke through the ship's speakers. Incoming transmission from the Velen homeworld. Elder Counselor Thera requests to speak with you. Put her through. Thera's aged face appeared on the screen. Admiral Tae-Jun, I wanted to congratulate you on your Federation's formation. Thank you, Elder. I understand the Velen, Korthan, Consetheri have all signed the Mutual Defense Pact. We have. We remember the old days. We are happy to have humanity back among the stars, though I suspect the younger species will not forget this lesson for a very long time. That is the idea. Thera's mandibles clicked in amusement. There is an old saying among my people. There are 3 types of species in the galaxy. Those who have fought humans, those who have fought alongside humans, and those who are about to learn. Wise words. One more thing, Admiral. The galaxy had 1,200 years of relative peace while you slept. It was the longest period without major war in recorded history. Tae-Jun raised an eyebrow. Are you saying our absence brought peace? No, Thera replied. I am saying that the threat of your return kept everyone honest. Sometimes the strongest deterrent is not the weapon you carry, but the reminder of what happens when someone forces you to use it. The transmission ended. Tae-Jun returned to looking at Earth. His crew stood nearby. Hana, Jin, Dae, they had all been promoted. All had their own commands now, but they still served together on the Eternal Vigil. What now, sir? Jin asked. Tae-Jun considered the question. Humanity was reunited. The Federation was strong. Peace had been established. What came next? Now, he said finally, we make sure this never happens again. We explore. We learn. We grow. But we remember. We always remember. Remember what, sir? Hana asked. Tae-jun looked at his crew, these people who had trusted him through everything. That humanity is strongest when we choose peace. But we are most dangerous when someone forces us to choose war. The galaxy learned that lesson. We must never forget it ourselves. He raised his hand, looking at Earth one more time. AEGIS, open a channel to all Federation worlds. Channel open, Admiral. Humanity is home. We are reunited. We are strong. But we will not become what we once fought against. We defend. We protect. We show mercy. But we never, ever back down when threatened. That is who we are. That is who we will always be. Across 300 worlds, in stations and ships and colonies, millions of humans heard his words, and they remembered why the galaxy had once feared them, not because humans were cruel, but because when pushed, when threatened, when forced to fight, humans did not know how to lose. They only knew how to win, and then show mercy to those who had learned their lesson. The eternal vigil turned slowly, its massive hull catching the light of Earth's sun. Around it, the human fleet maintained their eternal watch. Never again would humanity sleep. UNDED, DAFEND, Never again would the galaxy forget the one simple rule: never wake the humans.